Hi, this is Ms. Rosenthal. In this video, we're going to divide it into 3 parts. These are notes for Grid 2A, basic trig ratios. This first one we're going to focus on is defining 3 trigonometric ratios for right triangles. Second thing that we'll do is we'll write simplified trigonometric ratios for those right triangles, and then we will learn how to use the trig chart. So first of all, when we are looking at right triangles, trig is a way that we can use to measure angles and sides of a right triangle. In order to do so, we're going to look at triangles and their acute angles. There are 2 acute angles and 1 right angle. The hypotenuse will remain the same, as it's the side opposite the 90 degrees. The other 2 sides are going to be either the opposite side or the adjacent side. Sometimes they call it the adjacent leg. So if I'm working at this angle right here, I need to identify this as the opposite side, this is the adjacent side. So like opposite is going across from it, adjacent is right next to it. And again, the hypotenuse will remain the same. If I'm talking about the other angle, the other acute angle that's up here, again, 90 degrees, opposite that is my hypotenuse. If I go across or opposite that angle, now this side of the triangle would be the opposite leg. And this side that's right next to or adjacent to it would be the adjacent leg. Okay, so you have to be able to identify those parts based on which acute angle you are working with. There are 3 ratios that we are going to focus on. They are sine, cosine, and tangent. Maybe these are words that you've heard before or saw them on your calculator, you just didn't know what they were for. So here we go. So the symbol for sine is sin. Okay, so it looks like sin, but we always say sine. Sine is a ratio where I take the opposite leg over the hypotenuse. Okay, the sine is the ratio where I take the opposite leg over the hypotenuse. When I write out the equation for this, I'm going to say sin, or sine. In here, I'm going to put some angle. I could put 32 degrees, I could put angle X, whatever the situation shows me. And that's going to be the opposite over the hypotenuse. Okay, that's going to be our equation, and we're going to have numbers or variables that will go in for the O and for the H. Cosine, the symbol for cosine is COS, but we usually say just cosine. By definition, the cosine is a ratio that compares the adjacent leg to the hypotenuse. So we would write our equation out. Cosine of some angle is going to be equal to the ratio of the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse. We see very similar setups in those equations. My third one is called the tangent, or tan. That is the relationship between the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. So my equation would write out tan of some angle is going to equal the opposite over the adjacent.